If you didn't know already, exchange listings are one of the main reasons or catalysts behind what defines an explosive rally for a token, an explosive pump. But not all exchange listings are created equal. There are two, Binance and Coinbase, that have the ability to pump a token up to like hundreds, if not thousands of a percent in one day. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the top meme coins that are most likely going to be listing on one of these top exchanges. So if you want to know which meme coins I'm talking about, you're going to want to watch until the end of this video. All right, guys, let us jump into it. So just a quick look, we're first going to check out Bitcoin and how it's been doing. As you can see, as of the time of this video, we are at 91, almost 92,000. And this is awesome because it's Monday here in Southeast Asia, but it's still the end of Sunday on the East Coast, depending on when you watch this. So that means the market, Bitcoin's market, is breaking out despite it still being a weekend. So this is very, very bullish, and we're holding on strong within this 90s, 89 range, which is beautiful and such a strong signal. And then if we take a look at how we closed last week, according to ETFs or institutional purchases of Bitcoin's ETFs across the different institutions, you would see that we ended the week with not very many purchases. But it doesn't matter, and it should not be discouraging because the institutions know what they're doing, and sometimes they buy, sometimes they don't. But in general, let us zoom in. Actually, let us zoom out to see how we've been doing in the last 6 weeks. So as you can see what I'm reading on the screen here, this is by Crypto Crib. He says, last week, spot Bitcoin ETFs recorded 1.67 billion in inflows, making it 6 consecutive weeks of inflows. So even though we ended last week with no inflows, it doesn't matter. This is the first time since they launched pretty much that we've had consecutive weeks of inflows, which is extremely bullish. Next, regarding some new crypto action, we have more Bitcoin ETF filings. So this is the name of the form, 13F. It's a quarterly investment disclosure sort of like report that institutional investment firms have to submit to the government. And these are the new applicants. We have Cantor Fitzgerald, Citadel, Royal Bank of Canada, Goldman Sachs, a huge one, Morgan Stanley from Chase, huge, State of Wisconsin Investment Board, Bank of America, not shocking, UBS, HSBC, and Macquarie Bank. So with all of this said, we can only imagine what the inflow of new Bitcoin ETF purchases are going to be like. We have extremely bullish news on the horizon, and that's because Bitcoin's price has already been skyrocketing. And now we have all of this new demand that's going to be coming in. So if you just zoom out and connect the dots, you can see what's coming. Bitcoin is about to pump. And this is from Benjamin Cohen, CEO and founder of ITC Crypto and ITC Stocks, a PhD in engineering. So we like to get a lot of our content from him because it's just great. It's well-founded, data-driven content. And he says, Bitcoin is at $90,000 and some people are starting to care, but still less than the interest that it was at in 2021, so last bull run. YouTube views for these crypto YouTube channels are now running at half of what they were averaging in 2021. This says that we're heating up, where interest is definitely pouring in, but we haven't marked a top, but it's still looking good, like we're heating up. And with your help in spreading the word of Crypto by Jess, hopefully I'll be listed on this list soon. This is really awesome. This is an interview of Dennis Porter, the CEO and founder of Satoshi Act Fund, which is really awesome, leading the way in helping format the Bitcoin reserve strategy in Pennsylvania and across multiple states. So let's take a listen. And he says, breaking, I confirm we have 10 lawmakers in 10 different states who are ready to introduce strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation, and this is just the very beginning of the moment.
Bitcoin on their treasury, which is massive news. But you made an announcement today on stage that, did you say 10 other states are looking into that as well?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the state of Pennsylvania has absolutely introduced this strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation, and it's not the only state. It is just the first domino to fall. We are speaking with lawmakers across the country. We have now up to 10 states who are interested in introducing this type of legislation. So that means that we have 10 lawmakers in 10 different states who are ready to introduce strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation. And this is just the very, very beginning of the movement. We're going to see some news on this probably just within a month or so, maybe less, here in the United States of another state introducing this type of language. But it doesn't just stop there. We also have 4 different lawmakers in 4 countries across the world who are also interested in using our model language of Satoshi Action to have their state start buying Bitcoin. This is absolutely...
So I'll pause it there, but what's amazing, and they wrap up this interview saying, or where Dennis says that, you know, what's so amazing is that we know that Donald Trump has been saying, and it was part of his campaign, he was saying that they want to also create the federal, they want to introduce Bitcoin as a strategic asset into the Federal Reserve, right? Well, what Dennis says, and I paused it because I want to respect your time and not play the whole thing for you. He says that it's interesting because the government uses state legislation as like an incubator in many ways to see how that policy rolls out and affects the people. And if it's favorable and is really positive for the people, then this, like the main government of the US, right? Then they consider it as a federal policy. So in many ways, what we're seeing here is the beginning, like trial period of Bitcoin being introduced into the Federal Reserve on a state level, and then hopefully soon being introduced on a federal level. So this is all quite huge, especially if you connect it with what I just covered on the previous page, on the previous tab, where we now have 10 new institutional funds filing to be able to offer Bitcoin as an ETF to their investors. Right? That's going to be rolling out probably in the next month or 2. I don't know the process, how long it takes, but it's probably not going to take very long. So this is all incredible news, right? Like you can see the storm, you can see the tsunami forming. And then guess what? I just reposted this on my Twitter account as well. This is by Bitcoin Archive. He says, now we have the 3rd president, right? We had Bukele in El Salvador. Now we have Trump in the United States. And then now we have the Polish presidential candidate, Sławomir Mencen. I'm definitely slaughtering his name. But he owns 33.7 Bitcoin, worth over $3 million of Bitcoin. And he has just vowed to follow in Donald Trump's lead and create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Guys, so this is a domino effect that's just starting. Now, zooming into what we have on my screen, this is by Aurelian Ohayon, and he breaks it down visually, very nice for us, right? Like the way the market has moved and where we are in light of the 4 previous bull runs. And he explains the way it happens, right? Like this is what the bear market tends to look like pre-bull, and then going into the first bull run, and then the parabolic phase, right? And as you can see in the last 3 bull runs, right? This is our 4th, same thing, right? The pattern literally looks very, very, very similar. And if you can see what comes next here in the green column, you'll see that it goes kind of like skyrocket. The shape tends to look different in every bull run. So expect that, but it happens. And that's where we are right now with Bitcoin, you know, having entered into the 90,000s range. That is definitely what we see happening before our own very eyes. And then here we have more confirmation from Benjamin Cohen. Same thing. He's saying Bitcoin year to date, return on investment, ROI, still following prior halving years. So we're still within the same ranges, which is very exciting and reaffirming. And then here we have some advice. I try to repeat this in every show as much as possible, but it's just a reminder. he says a crypto bull run is not about making money. I mean, it is, right? But it's about keeping the money, because you're going to place a bunch of bets, right? You're going to invest in a bunch of different tokens. And at one point in this next phase that we're going into, these next 3-6 months, we're all going to look at our wallets. And I remember this from last bull run, and you're just going to see huge numbers, right? Like across all of your holdings, and you're going to feel very, very rich. Then it's going to correct. And then at one point, the market's going to just kind of like, I'm not going to say completely crash, but kind of, it's going to feel like it's crashing. It's going down to zero. And for many crypto tokens, it is going to crash, like straight go down to zero. And at that point, you're going to feel very dumb and very poor, and like you made the biggest mistake of your life. And many people get very depressed during this time. Some people just go offline, and that's hard, right? And I don't want you guys to go through this. I definitely have prepared myself to where I'm not going through this. I think everyone kind of has to get burnt to learn. But if you follow the right people, then you don't have to, right? I can think of countless times in my life where I've listened to the advice of people who've gone before me, and I've saved myself from so much headache, and I'm so happy I did. But this is what he says, you know, it's about keeping the money. It's not about always just about how much you see in your wallets. It's about how much you profit and you take out and put it into stable coins where it's safe. He says, because making money, this market is easy. Trust me, it's easy. Just buy undervalued projects doing high quality stuff. Others aren't. But the hard part is keeping it. That's where most people fail. I'll tell you when to sell. And trust me, that time is not yet. And that I could definitely agree with. I think right now is still the time to put your positions in, right? It's still, put your bets in, put your positions in, buy, at the very discounted price that things are still at right now, and be ready. Be ready for when the wave starts to take off, as we're already starting to see. And then you just need to ride the wave for a bit. I will definitely be telling you guys as well on my channel. I'm actually going to be opening up a VIP exclusive community and a course for new people that want hands-on training. You want to be able to talk to a coach or me in the chat at any time. Just really, really like focused attention. So that's coming soon, guys. But if not, also just follow my Twitter and these videos, since I'm making them every single day now for you guys, so that you guys are very, very plugged in. I want to do my part in making sure that I can help you succeed this bull run. So that said, we can also see that meme coins, if we zoom in, this is from Miles, are continuing to hit an all-time high in searches. Normal people, retail, potentially come into meme coins. So this is a really, really bullish sign. He says they're even higher than in 2021, signaling a super cycle coming in. And in a second, we're going to read more about that by Murad, who's like the meme coin guru. This is by Mockingbird Alpha Research. This is very interesting. And once again, it paints a picture of how high this market is going to go and how we've only started to see the beginning. And he says the total market cap of crypto has hit a new all-time high this week, reaching $3 trillion level again since November 21st. Though it's a bit concerning that all dino or old coins are pumping, which usually signals the final phase of the bull market. I think we still have at least a few weeks to run until the next local top. So we definitely have a few more weeks, because remember, there's a few things that need to happen in a specific order. And in a second, I'm going to show you that chart that I want to show you by Murad that I was talking about a minute ago. Historically, it's been Bitcoin has to run 4 to 6 weeks for this to happen. Then Bitcoin reaches its like new floor price, basically. And then at that point, the liquidity flows into layer ones, right? And then altcoins, and then it kind of trickles into micro caps or new trending topics, right? So we're still in the Bitcoin accumulation phase, where Bitcoin is still running and trying to find its new price point, right? So we're still in that phase, and just hold that thought, okay? But in a second, I'm going to show you the way some are speculating that this bull run is going to play out, because remember, it's not going to repeat last bull run exactly. This bull run is unlike any other bull run we've ever experienced. Just given like we have our first Bitcoin president, and Bitcoin's probably going to be added into the Federal Reserve. It's already being proposed on the state level. You know, we have the Bitcoin ETFs trading for the first time in history of the world. So we have so many things that are so different this bull run. This is by Crypto Amsterdam, and he says, it is playing out perfectly. I'm not seeing the pullbacks people want, and we do have the expected BTC chop, right? So I'm going to zoom in on this for you. He lays out some conditions, and he says, these are the things that we have to look out for before we know, then we roll over into altcoin season, meme coin season, mania. I know we're already seeing meme coin season, but like the parabolic phase has not started for meme coins. All right, so you're still very early to get in. So I'm very excited to share the meme coins that are projected to be listed potentially on Coinbase or Binance. Okay, but if we look at where we're at right now, is we have just completed conditions for what's called a long chop, where you have many people who have past PTSD from past bull runs, getting scared because the market is running up, 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 up. Bitcoin is running up, up, up. So we're already starting to see that, right? You've probably heard a lot of fear and people being like, oh, this is the top. Oh, it's over. Oh, whatever, right? Next, we have a breakout without pullbacks. That's already happened as well. So many people sidelined in disbelief. They can't believe it's happening. Like they just don't believe, right? So they're missing out. And then 3, we have our first period of chop. And then this is what's going to happen next. Bitcoin's going to continue to run. And then that liquidity is going to roll over into altcoins and all of the other bags that you're holding, other tokens that you're holding. So we are at like the cusp of full throttle parabolic bull run, guys. Like it is upon us. And then here, this is what I was trying to explain to you guys a second ago, is that this is by Murad. The way things have worked in the past has been Bitcoin runs, a lot of that volume rolls over into Ethereum because many and most of the tokens are built on Ethereum. And now Solana, right? So this has been like the old model. It's been like Bitcoin over into like the layer 1s, like Ethereum, like Solana, right? Like Base, like Aptos, like Sui. And then it rolls over into the large caps, like your Chainlink, your Ondo, your Phantom, your other really, really big and well-known crypto projects that have survived, especially if they've survived past bear markets. And then it goes into altcoin season, right? That's when all the new tokens start to fly. That's where people make all their money. But this bull run, this is what Murad is saying. He says that it's going to be Bitcoin. Then most of that value is going to roll into Solana because we know Solana has been outperforming Ethereum. And then from there, Doge and their large cap memes. So all the blue chip memes, right? With Pepe, Popcat. I actually met the creator of Popcat this last weekend in Bangkok. Super awesome, Karine. And then from there, that value, a lot of that value starts to roll over into new memes, right? So that's what we can potentially expect, or have your eyes open for this anyway, because I want you to be prepared. So this is potentially what might happen as well. Here on the screen, just as a signal of how this is about to happen, confirmation, once again, we have this from Miles. Really great content from Miles. I'll zoom in on it for you. But you'll notice that every time the green spikes, that's volume, Bitcoin tops, which is the black squiggly line on the screen. So you'll notice as I'm scrolling across slowly, there is a relationship, right? A correlation. Every time the volume spikes in meme coins, Bitcoin seems to also find its top. And that is what we are experiencing right now. It doesn't mean it's the ultimate top. It just means it's a top for the moment. Then there might be a little correction, which is healthy. Don't freak out. And then from there, it's probably going to run again and then again and again. It's going to continue to do that, okay? And so the takeaway here is that keep your eyes peeled. Every time you see meme coins going parabolic in volume, then you know, okay, we're looking at Bitcoin having a top. Very good indicator. And as more confirmation, this is from Dan Crypto Trades. He says, 1 month later, and the total meme coin capitalization has increased from 57 billion to 123 billion. Which is more than double. So in the last month, the value in meme coins has more than doubled. Meanwhile, AI tokens have only gone up 30%, and DeFi, same thing, 20 to 30%. So it's not to say that don't invest in AI or DeFi. It just means know where you're putting your money and make sure that if you're putting it into meme coins, keep in mind this is the total meme coin market capitalization. And it's a bit of a trick to know which meme coin is going to run the highest. You have to pretty much invest only in the blue chips, only in like the top 10, which I've covered in past videos if you want to go check them out and know which these are. And from Wrecked Fencer, he's also explaining this, right? He says, now imagine, he says total meme market cap is 115 billion. Now imagine a world where it doesn't hit 1 trillion this cycle. He says you can't, like he's saying it's gonna hit like the trillions, like at least 1 trillion, because we haven't even entered the parabolic phase of the market, right? So if we're already seeing this 115 billion, imagine how high it's gonna run, especially with AI. Like, you know, we already have GOAT with Truth Terminal, like there's gonna be more AI memes popping up, and their algorithms are going to be trained to succeed. And so, yeah, they're going to run. I have a feeling like AI, I agree with him. Like it's a big number, but it's very, very likely, very, very likely if you just look at like general trends, right? He says memes are the DeFi of this cycle, meaning it's the category or the narrative type of crypto token that's going to run the most popular. And memes are the NFTs of this cycle. Memes, guys, like taking over the world. The real parabola hasn't even started. Raise your targets, stop thinking small. He does have a point. And then here we have Eric Stevens sort of like honing in on this thought. And he says the majority of your portfolio should be allocated to stop trading and believe in something, right? This is what Murad said. You know, this is his theory and his thesis in how he invests is if you believe in something that has been validated, like all of the main points have been validated, it's solid. If you believe in it, then hold it. He says, so he's agreeing with this philosophy, and he says like, that's how you should run your portfolio. Like believe in something strongly that checks out, hits all the boxes. He says, but it is crucial to set aside a portion that you don't mind losing forever for exploring new opportunities. So I have my blue chip investments, tokens that I believe in long-term, you know, they're going to change the world. And then I have my portfolio of top blue chip and some unknown new meme tokens, one of which I will share with you in a minute. And then now we're getting into the alpha for today's show. This is a list of memes that are listed on central exchanges. So you can see they, like, you know, which ones have been listed, right? So like the most popular have been listed across all of the exchanges, and definitely at least across Coinbase and Binance. And feel free to pause the video here or take a screenshot so you can really like soak it in. These are the potential candidates for Coinbase, Spot, and Robinhood listings with Flowkey, Mew, Bonk, Book of Meme, Turbo, Nero, and Degen. So these are potential, some of these are already huge. A lot of these are pretty much, all of them are big. They're potentially going to get listed on Coinbase and Robinhood, which means they're going to fly from here. And then here we have it from Miles once again. He says top memes by 7-day holder growth, right? So like very recent stats, data. He says this is an important metric for quantifying the traction of a meme. So it equals like growth of the community, increased network effect. And on this list, if we zoom in, which is the top performing, Miggles, Memecoin, GOAT, Popcat, NPC. That said, the specific meme coin I wanted to share with you right now, and I have not purchased it yet, but I will hopefully before this video gets aired, is Mr. Miggles. This cat story is just getting started. This is like grumpy face cat. I love Mr. Miggles. It's like the ultimate grumpy cat. It's ridiculous, guys, but as we know, ridiculous and cute and makes you immediately smile or laugh is the test in knowing if a token's gonna do well or not. So go check them out, Mr. Miggles. I'm following them now as well, but they are giving us all of the right indicators on potentially being a new blue chip. So here's this really detailed and really good tweet that you can go read and take your time in reading. I won't read it all for you, but these are the reasons that Miggle is most likely going to do, is going to do very well. It can potentially become the #1 meme coin on Base. So it has the community aspect, the team aspect, the whales. Go find this tweet. I do have to wrap up this video. go take your time, go do more research. I will link this below so you can take your time and read it. But I wanted to bring it to you before others get the word and it runs to a crazy price. But that said, let's take a look at how it's doing right now. So this is Mr. Miggles. You can go to Dex Screener to find out. But at the time of this video, it's at 0.17, 0.18 cents. So it's still very cheap and could be a really good opportunity for you. So anyway, it's not financial advice. I'm just bringing you potential good opportunities, okay? But all right, guys, I hope you gained value. I'll be heading home soon, but for the meantime, I hope you're doing really well. I hope I answered any of your questions, and please let me know if I didn't, or if you have other questions, or there's other topics you'd like me to cover, and I'd be more than happy to do this. All right, catch you guys in my next video. Ciao.